Good morning, traders. So how do we trade the Dow Jones today? So we're kind of in a pretty interesting territory. So first things first, this measured move, so in other words, this move here down, and then we rallied. You always expect the second move, and it's normally the same height or the same distance as what the first move was. And we have not quite tagged that level yet. Okay, now in my experience with this instrument is these daily measured moves pretty much almost always play out. Okay, now the thing that's concerning me though is that everything is looking very, very tired. So in other words, we've got diversions brewing, we've got lows and higher lows on the awesome oscillator, all on the daily. We are even on the weekly. We are kind of hovering down here on the Williams percentage R, and this is looking very tired. And then if I drill across to the monthly, you can see the monthly is even starting to line up quite nicely, which is starting to indicate that we have potential for a move back to the upside. Yeah, so if you look at the monthly, the trend is still very much the upside. And this alligator is still pointing skyward. So that's kind of still my overall view is I still expect us to be doing something to the upside, but I'm also cognizant of the fact that this measured move hasn't been tagged. And if you look at what's happening at the awesome oscillator right now on this first 4-hour candle this morning, we are heading up into overbought territory on 1 bar. Okay, well, that just gives you an indication that it's really the Asian market that's driving it at the moment. And I would expect, I sort of expect a bit of a rally, and then I'm still expecting us to come and tag these areas. And I'll run through my theory now. Okay, so Friday was Black Friday. Okay, so those sales results will come out. Well, I know I've seen some of them starting to trickle out, but what we're waiting for is the likes of Amazon to announce amazing sales data, which is going to drive Amazon, which will filter over into multiple other tech stocks, and which will be sort of the catalyst. Today is Cyber Monday. In other words, all the online retailers have got amazing specials. So basically what's going to happen is if those sales numbers are strong, all that's going to happen is that you'll see Amazon bragging about it. You'll have other retailers bragging about it, which is going to drive the NASDAQ, it's going to drive the tech sector, which will drive the S&P, which ultimately will drive the Dow Jones. So that may just be the catalyst that everybody's waiting for to drive this market higher, to start the Christmas rally. Okay, so looking at our indicators, this is still indicating, we have diversions here as well, continuation diversions, that is, from this fractal to where we are currently. And there's a gap here, and there is a measured move still. Okay, now this measured move is pretty much still 385 points away. So that is the only thing that's scaring me right now. I don't see anything that is indicating a long just yet, although everything is starting to hint towards a long. The fact that these tails are all at the top here, which means the sellers are still stepping in and driving this down, is very telling. I think the bears are aiming for this measured move. Now, I personally have already got a trade in, and that is a long order sitting on this measured move of 2400. Well, 2405 I think my trade is. So that's sitting there waiting to be picked up. For today, I think the DAX, European, is looking a little bit confusing. We've got quite a bit of noise on Brexit, probably more positive than negative, so that may just drive the markets, European markets up. But then we have France, which is they're rioting and killing each other. over petrol prices and a couple of other things. So that political tension could very well spill over into Europe as well, which would affect it negatively. So it's kind of, it's not concrete in any direction at the moment. So yeah, I'm kind of of the mind just to wait and see what happens through Europe. But for me, this trend is still very strong to the downside. So that's the direction I want to play. Yes, we're doing a bit of a rally now, but I'm almost willing to bet that I need to be looking, either pretty much where we are now. Maybe if we just take it off the 4 hour, and what we can sort of do is do this. And you can see we are above 61.8 at the moment, but I'm almost inclined to believe that we're going to have some kind of sellers stepping in somewhere around here, possibly even around there. So what you do have though is we've got this sort of a wedge that has not has yet, but it's busy breaking to the upside. If I take it on the hour, okay, we've had one bar, another bar, but I'm still not convinced. Okay, so I've learned my lesson over time that what's happening now is not really a reflection of what the market's doing right now. So you could see this thing find some resistance up here and then rally off. So I'm almost inclined to believe if we do get, just delete all this noise and I'll show you what I mean. So I'm almost inclined to believe that if you look here, that was a previous swing low. We haven't tested. Okay, so it was falling short every single time. Okay, so it was basically coming off these tails here, or this inside tail here, rather than these inside tails. So to me, I still expect a rally. It can come and test this 24475, but I think that is an opportunity for a short. And what you can do is you can sort of take the short off there with a stop up there. It's a 110-point stop loss. Okay, so that's kind of my view. The trend is still down. I'm looking for this little rally to fizzle out somewhere up in this 24475 area, at which point I think it's well worth looking for shorts, and that short target for me is still this measured move. Okay, so in other words, from there to there. Okay, so that's kind of my view at the moment. What would change that view is if we're going to rally up to this area, come back, and then find support on the alligator on the 1 hour. In other words, we go up, we stay above the teeth, this red line, and we start forming a pattern to turn, then that's what I'll be looking at. But for me right now, I think still another push down, and then we start seeing some retail results coming out later in the week, which are going to be positive, which is ultimately going to start driving the bulls. Okay, that's kind of my view on this for now. We'll have to wait and see what happens at the US Open, I think, is the critical one. I wouldn't worry too much about Europe at the moment because it's going to be chaos. Anyway, guys, that's my view for today. I hope it helps, and I'll catch you later. Cheers for now.